Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about a working method, an actual method of working with the Shem Angels and how to bring all of this together. How do I make this into a working method so that I can have an experience? Okay, so that's going to be the topic for today. Welcome everyone. It is a beautiful Monday morning, first day of the week, and another round of episodes for y'all. Okay, so today we're going to talk about an actual method that can be employed for engaging, making contact with the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh. Making contact. That sounds kind of spooky, you know, like we're making contact with something from beyond or outer space or something, you know, we're making contact. But yeah, you know, however you want to see these angels, whether there's something within us or something external, whatever it is, these methods should bring contact, okay? And it is interesting that, like, my own personal experience, I found it to be very transformative. Okay, and many other people find it to be transformative. But this idea that you can make contact with a spirit and your life starts to change. I mean, that's pretty revolutionary. And you don't get a lot of the negative feelings and stuff that you get with a lot of other types of spirits and grimoire magic. You just tend to get like positive feelings. So something that's good, something that's safe, something that's effective. I mean, why not? Why not give it a shot? You know what I mean? Why not give it a shot, y'all? So the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh. Okay, today I'm going to be talking about a very simple working method. So, you know, I'm pretty excited about this, honestly. Doing an episode every single day. Yeah, we're going to see how it goes. If nothing else, we're going to pump out a lot of material. Okay, because I've been putting out like an hour a day. The other day it was a 2-hour video. So last week it was at least an hour daily for 5 days, at least 5 hours. But some of those days it was like 2 hours, an hour and a half. So it's a lot of stuff. Okay, so just last week it was like 8 hours worth of material. So, hi, how are you doing today? Looks like we've got some viewers here. So today we're talking about an actual working method for establishing contact with the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh. This is Renaissance or classical magic. Okay, there are these old grimoires, old books of magic that we have. Like, this is classical magic. Today we're talking about methods, techniques. How do you establish contact with the Shem angels? How do you put this into practice? How do you make it real? So, and the main thing is with the Shem Angels is, first of all, you need to understand what they are. Okay, what are the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh? The more that you know about them, the more that you have an understanding of them, the more you are already kind of like attuning yourself to them, if that makes sense. Like, in the process of learning about them, learning about their history, their lore, you're already beginning to establish a certain level of contact. You know, it's interesting. Some people have noticed changes and stuff just by learning about a spirit. You know, that's something that you've actually see in some traditions, you know. Someone might be just reading about a spirit and they start having dreams and stuff. So really, I think that, first of all, the process of learning about the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh is really a way to, it's part of establishing that rapport and that contact and that understanding. Because you already have something that's basically invisible, and then to project your own image onto it instead of trying to like understand what it is, or at least what was the experience of it over the centuries. What was the experience of this being over the centuries? We can kind of understand, oh, there's a little bit of a pattern here. Yeah, today we're talking about the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh and how to establish a connection. So first of all, there are several parts of this. First of all, we have what are the classical sources? We have Agrippa and we have Johann Reuchlin's De Arte Cabalistica from the 16th century. Okay. And then we have Athanasius Kircher's Oedipus Egyptiacus, okay, from the 17th century, which assigns psalm verses and divine attributes. So this is how this works. So the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh, these are 72 angels that, according to Cornelius Agrippa in the 16th century, are each one governs 5 degrees of the zodiac. According to Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, each of these 72 angels governs 5 degrees of the zodiac. Okay, and then if we look at like the Divine Cabal, or we look at Lazar Lenain, we look at least some of these like later writings of occultists, okay, they were working with it in this way, following the sun. You could follow the sun through the zodiac. That's part of the tradition. It's part of the later tradition, but it's part of the tradition, following the sun through the zodiac as a way to connect with them. You know, the Divine Cabal is actually a pretty interesting text. Hold on, getting on my computer here. Got multiple devices here today. How are y'all doing today? But we're talking about the Divine Cabal. The Divine Cabal is a text. Like, are we really sure who even wrote it to start with? We know that we have this French text, okay? And then Frederick Hockley translated it, or Henry Leah Dawson translated it from French into English, okay? And Welcome Manuscript 3203. So, and then we have this French text. So, the Divine Cabal, it's actually interesting because it's like a dream magic method, The Divine Cabal, it's actually doing dream work with the 72 Shem Angels. So that's what the Divine Cabal is. It's literally a text of, it's a dream magic grimoire. A dream, like you go to sleep, it's a dream magic grimoire with the 72 Shem Angels. I haven't really replicated that method too much, you know, but in the full Divine Cabal method, you make the sigil of the spirit, the Shem Angel, and you put it under your pillow. And you go to sleep. And the goal is to communicate with the angel when you go to sleep. The problem for many people is, like, do you really remember your dreams to start with? It's very important if you're going to use any kind of like dream work method with any kind of grimoire spirit, which is traditional. Dream work is, working with dreams is traditional in some of the grimoires. You see it in the Key of Solomon, you see it in various grimoires. But dreams, the Divine Cabal actually is the full thing is the Divine Cabal is you put the sigil of the Shem Angel under your pillow, you go to sleep. Now that's not really the topic here, okay, in this series, but that's just but the Divine Cabal actually follows the zodiac, the sun through the tropical zodiac. Okay, and that's kind of what inspired, that's what, that is one method to use with following the sun through the zodiac and working with the Shem Angels. And then, of course, Lazar Lenain gives us the cycle of 20 minutes, the 20-minute cycle of Lazar Lenain. So Lazar Lenain gives us the 20-minute cycle, okay? So that Vehuya, the first angel, governs from midnight to from 12 a.m. to 12:20 a.m. I would correct for daylight savings. And then the next angel and the next angel every 20 minutes, so that the 24 hours in a day could be divided into 72 sections of 20 minutes each. So that's the method, but Lazar Lenain just fabricated this. Okay, Lenain created it. Okay, it appears in his book in 1823. Okay, so kind of the early 19th century. 1823, Lazar Lenain's Science of Kabbalah, or La Science Kabbalistique by Lazar Lenain. Says, okay, so I'm going to read a comment here. he says, this is so interesting. I used to insert the 4 archangels as the directional watchtowers for their presence to raise energy in my magical practice. That was years ago. I am now getting into it again. Like they say, the Shem Angels are very interesting to work with, and their correspondences and how to establish a connection to them. I love your work and your post house. And thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, He Kim. Yeah, the directional watch. So that's another way, working with the I had a brush with Judaism when I was younger in my 20s, and when I was practicing Judaism, I remember the prayers before sleep. You would actually affirm, and this is in the Jewish Siddur. Okay, this is in the Siddur. This is in the official prayer book. This is just mainstream Judaism. Before sleep, you would call on Raphael and Michael and Gabriel, or you would call on the 4 archangels to stand guard. So these 4 archangels are seen as kind of like guardians of humanity. And so at any time you can call on the four guardians, okay, which are the 4 archangels, okay, Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, and Uriel. And you can call upon Raphael in the east, using kind of a little bit of a golden, modern, hermetic order of the Golden Dawn type of directional layout. Okay, because Agrippa gives something totally different. Go look up Agrippa. What's in the east? It's fire. I think he has a totally different perspective on the directions and the elements. So that's just something that we need to be aware of. This modern east is air, south is fire, west is water, north is earth. Okay, that's a modern thing, and that's what I use personally. I use it. Okay, it's what I use. I'm not saying it's bad, but it is modern. But that's what we currently use. But if you look in Agrippa, he gives totally different elemental layout to the elements and the 4 directions. Anyway, so about the Shem Angels, even all the way back with Agrippa, they govern 5 degrees each of the zodiac. So first thing to look at is timing. Timing, okay? Let's say you want to do a ritual with a Shem Angel. Timing. Now, do you even need timing? I encourage people to try it with and without timing. That's what I teach and encourage, okay? I encourage people to try with and without timing and to compare results, okay? We need to use use kind of a scientific method it's not science. I am not saying it's science. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. But to use kind of more of an objective method to where we should write down what we're doing and what were the results, okay? So that we can compare results over time. I think it's very important to have a record, a magical record. If you do an experiment with a Shem Angel, write down what you did and write down what results you had. What were your findings after the ritual? Okay, what were the conditions? Did you sleep well? Did you eat a full meal before your ritual? Did you get plenty of sleep? These types of, over time, you see what were the internal, external factors. When I did a ritual, what were the results? And to be able to write when you're in an exalted state, okay, you're in that moment that you're having these experiences or emotions or whatever you're having when you're having a Shem Angel contact, okay? To write that down so that later on, when you're in your everyday consciousness and you go and read this, you're like, well, what was that about? And then you can go read what was, you write it down when it's fresh on your mind, the experience, okay? And over time, you see what works. And I encourage people to try using timing and try using no timing and compare. Now, what is my opinion on timing? Well, my opinion is timing has developed from people working with them over the centuries. In my opinion, the timing does seem to help a lot. In my opinion. But we shouldn't have any kind of dogma out there. That's why I encourage people to try with time and try it without. See what works for you through experiment, okay? But for many people, they find timing useful. Otherwise, why would someone follow the sun through the zodiac if it didn't help? Why would someone wait till the 20-minute cycle if it didn't help? Obviously, like a lot of people find timing helpful. Otherwise, this would not be such a central part of the tradition. Renaissance magicians put very much like painstaking efforts in waiting until the appropriate astrological time, for example, or the appropriate planetary hour. So, it's all up to individual perspective. So each of us can keep our own like record and write down what we do, and we see what works for us over time, okay? That way we're not just blindly following any kind of system. So I encourage people to try, if you're working with the Shem Angels, try it with no timing. Okay, write down what happened. Next, try it in the, let's say, the 20-minute cycle to work with any angel on any day. But wait till it's 20-minute cycle. And then try, and also try working with how I'm mostly doing it, just following the sun through the zodiac. So you're cycling through a new angel every 5 days, roughly. Now, what do I do? So basically, timing is the first thing. Try it with no timing. Try it with a 20-minute cycle of Lazar Linane. And then try it with the following the sun through the zodiac at the hour of the sun. That's what I do. I've had very good results, okay, and I think it's just absolutely fascinating, okay. So the first thing to look at is timing, and then we need to understand just a little bit about the Shem Angels. We need to understand a little bit about them. So first of all, where do they come from? Agrippa talks about this. Reuchlin talks about it. I've repeated it many times in my videos, but I'm going to say it again because it's important. Reiteration helps people to learn. When things are repeated, it is implanted within our minds. We don't forget it. And of course, we never know who is watching for the first time. So, according to Agrippa and Johann Reuchlin, according to both of them, they talk about how the 72 Shem Angels actually come from 3 verses of the Torah, which are Exodus or Shemot, Exodus chapter 14, verses 19, 20, and 21. Each of these 3 verses in Hebrew has 72 Hebrew letters. By putting the 3 verses on top of each other and flipping the middle one around, we get 72 columns of Hebrew letters. Each letter has, this creates 72 holy names of God, of 3 letters each. By adding El or Yah, we get the names of the 72 Shem Angels. So Agrippa talks about this. These are like Kabbalistic angels that are drawn from the Hebrew text. So Exodus 14, verses 19, 20, and 21. Now, this does not mean that we all need to believe and all accept the Bible. No, it doesn't matter what your tradition. It's just this is the historical lore. Okay, we're looking at the history and the lore of the 72 Shem Angels, the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh. We're just looking at the history and the lore. Where did Agrippa say they came from? Okay, where did Reuchlin say they came from? Well, these 3 verses of Exodus, Exodus 14, verses 19, 20, and 21. These 3 verses, each one in Hebrew has 72 letters, but you get the 72 names of the angels from this, okay? Now, what are the verses saying? It seems like if the names of the angels come from these verses, then what the text says is pretty important. I encourage y'all to read it. It's pretty interesting. It talks about the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire, okay, with the Hebrews in the wilderness, and Moses parting the Red Sea. He parts the Red Sea. So whatever you think about the Bible, whatever you think about these stories, that is like one of the most iconic moments, the parting of the Red Sea and part of the lore of the Shem Angels. Again, I'm not saying that we all literally believe in the Bible or anything, okay? But according to the historical lore, the idea is that Moses performed these miracles through the Shem Angels. The word Shem in Hebrew means name. The word Shem in Hebrew means name. So Shem Angel literally means angel of the name or name angel. So the 72 Shem Angels are angels of the 72 names of God, because there's 72 names of God that come from this text. So that is what Reuchlin and Agrippa write about in the 16th century. And of course these angels Kircher, and these are the angels used in magic. Okay, they're used in magical practices throughout the Renaissance, and many people are familiar. We're talking about like grimoire magic and stuff like that. Many people are familiar with the 72 demons of the Ars Goetia, and that's totally different. That is a totally unrelated group of spirits. But you hear a lot of people talk about the 72 demons of the Ars Goetia. Well, I think that we ought to also look at the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh. Many people have found to be very powerful, okay? But there's certain things to understand. First of all, and again, it doesn't mean you have to be a Christian or a Jew to practice this, no. But just understanding what is the historical lore of the Shem angels. First of all, Shem means name in Hebrew. Shem Angel means name angel, angel of the name. Why? Because the 72 Shem angels come from the 72 names of God that are extracted from Exodus 14, verses 19, 20, and 21. Again, the verse talks about the pillar of fire and the pillar of cloud, and Moses stretched out his hands and parted the Red Sea. Now, Agrippa, also in the 16th century, says that they are assigned to the quinaries of the zodiac. Each angel governs 5 degrees of the zodiac. Okay, each angel. And so the first thing, like I said, to understand is what are the angels? Each angel has an office. The office is like what it does. Okay? So there's some Shem angels that are used for love and romance and like to keep couples together and to help couples and things like that. There are Shem angels like that, like romance. There's some Shem angels that are focused on protection, on driving away evil, there's some Shem angels that are used for for health, okay, for health, things like that. And there's some Shem angels that are used for dreams. Some of them are used for wealth or money or things like that. So the 72 Shem angels govern every aspect of life. What people need to understand is that what we have here is a full system of magic. The reason that I say that it's a full system of magic is because they govern every single aspect of life. Okay? We have our finances covered, love, protection, dream work, enlightenment, spirituality, anything that we could think of, any area of life is covered by the 72 Shem angels, okay? Just like any system, like for example, the 12 signs of the zodiac is a complete system. The 12 signs of the zodiac is a complete system because it's a wholeness. It's complete. It has every personality typing, all the like archetypes or patterns within it. Okay. The I Ching is another example, or the tarot, or the runes. It's a complete system. It has all aspects within it. The Shem angels are the same way. Okay. Remember that the zodiac is essentially a circle. Okay. It's a circle. It is a loop. It is completeness. It is wholeness. Okay. Like this image behind me. The 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh cover every aspect of life. So in that sense, it's a complete system of magic. You know, what a lot of people don't understand is that magic, as it was practiced in the old days, some people practiced a little bit of everything, okay? Jack of all trades. But there were some people that only worked with one form of magic that did everything for them, okay? Some people only worked with one. For example, there's some people today that just do bottle magic. That's all they do is bottle magic. And that's the way it's always been. There's always been those workers that only use one method, and it does everything for them. Bottle magic could be used for anything, any kind of thing that you're trying to bring into your life or ward off or whatever else. Bottle magic. Well, the Shem angels is the same way. Someone could just work with this, and this just be with in all aspects of life are covered. So each angel has an office. The office refers to what it does. What does it do for you? That is the angel's office. The attribute. It refers to the aspect of God that is expressed in the angel. It refers to the attribute of God that the angel expresses. We have to keep in mind that Shem means name. Shem Angel is angel of the name. So each name, each of the 72 names of God refers to a quality, a divine, some kind of divine aspect of the divine or God. And the 72 angels, they express, they embody an attribute of God. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you're watching live or you're watching freshly from making this video, today, I just wanted to announce this. Today, the sun has entered 0 degrees of Pisces. The sun has entered 0 degrees of Pisces. Now, this also applies to the 12 zodiacal angels. How do we work with a zodiacal angel? Well, there are several ways that we can do that. One way is to follow the path of the sun through the zodiac. That is one method that we can use to work with the zodiacal angel as well. So this is the 12 zodiac angels are not the 72 Shem angels. These are different spirits. Although the Divine Cabal seems to hint at them being like a hierarchy with the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh. I don't really see it though. I see them as distinct. Like, I don't need to use a zodiacal angel to call on a Shem angel. I've never used that, ever. And I know many people that don't use that at all. But the Divine Cabal hints at it. But anyway, I keep them totally separate. But the 12 zodiacal angels, the angel of Pisces, the Archangel of Pisces, according to Agrippa, in the 16th century, and also according to the magical calendar as well. According to Agrippa and the magical calendar, the angel of Pisces is Barchiel. The CH here, it looks like Barchiel, okay, or Barchiel, okay. The CH here is definitely it's the H, okay, it's the Hebrew letter Chet, which is like a strong H. Okay, it's like a guttural H, almost like a French R. It's like a H, but H. This is a sound that you have in Hebrew, Barchiel, or you could just do a strong H. If it's hard for you to make that guttural sound, Barchiel, you could just say Barchiel like a strong H sound. Barchiel is the Archangel of Pisces. Now, interestingly, according to the Divine Cabal, now we can't base everything on the Divine Cabal on this one text, but it's interesting that the Divine Cabal says that the Angel of Pisces, Barchiel, that he defends against evil spirits. The Angel of Pisces defends against evil spirits. That's actually pretty interesting. And if you go to, now where do we get the sigil? The earliest we see the sigils from the magical calendar. You've got the sigil of the angel. On my Facebook, I actually put it as my cover photo. I put the time, okay? The sun will be in Pisces up until the vernal equinox, okay? Up until the vernal equinox. Yeah, so Pisces, I put the sigil of the angel on my thing, the angel of Pisces. Okay, the angel of Pisces, Barchiel, defends against evil spirits. I have his sigil. And again, we're just going off of like 16th century, 17th century texts. We're going off the classical material. Okay, whether you're a modern practitioner or not, we're looking to the past. We're looking to the Renaissance. Okay, we're just learning about classical magic, which really fascinates me. Classical magic, you know. But anyways, and I've got some comments here. Let me see here. Yeah, so he says, you could spend a lifetime studying the Shem angels and their correlations. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's so deep, so profound. And each angel is absolutely unique, completely different. Completely different. So the office tells what is the angel for. The attribute talks about how, like, what is the quality expressed in the angel. So the divine quality. Oh, today, and also the new Shem Angel, Eiael. 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 It's interesting. You got a lot of vowels there. Eiael. Eiael is the Shem Angel that governs from 0 until 5 degrees of Pisces. Eiael. Okay, Eiael. And, you know, we could look at different spellings of the name, the Latin letters. Okay, we've got Agrippa. We have, how did Dr. Rudd spell it? How did the Divine Cabal? How did Lazar Linnaean? How did Agrippa spell the name? Eiael. E-I-A-E-L. Eiael. Eiael governs from 0 to 5 degrees of Pisces. And Eiael is associated with change, and Eiael is also associated with longevity and occult science, hidden knowledge, enlightenment. Okay, so this is actually a Shem Angel associated with enlightenment, like esoteric knowledge and occult knowledge. So what that means is, since that is the office, what you would do is you would look for you would ask him for something in his office. You would ask for something in Eiael's office. So you would ask for longevity, or I recommend just asking for one thing. Now, not to be all superstitious or tell people what to think or anything. You know me if you watch my video. I think each person has to just make up their own minds and write things down, do your own research, have your own experience or no experience, and draw your own conclusions, okay? But I think it's very important that we just understand the tradition as well, okay? So the office is what the angel does, okay? That's the office. The attribute is the quality of God that it embodies. And then we have the name of the angel, and then we have the degrees. And what a person, and then we have the psalm verse. We have the psalm verse. 71 of the angels each have a psalm verse, and one of the angels actually has Genesis 1:1 instead of a psalm verse. Now the psalm verse, what's interesting, if we look at the psalm verses, which the earliest we have of this is Athanasius Kircher's Oedipus Aegyptiacus, published in 1654, so 17th century. The psalm verses, it's interesting that almost all of these psalm verses, there's like a rule that they follow. So it's not just random psalm verses applied to the 72 angels. No, there's like a rule. If you look at the Hebrew of the psalm verse, it should have the 3 letters of the divine name of the angel. So take away the El or Yah at the end. The 3 letters of the name should appear next to a tetragrammaton or Yod He Vav He. Somewhere in the psalm verse should have Yod He Vav He, and somewhere around it the letters. For example, Sitael, the Shem Angel. If you look at the Hebrew of the psalm verse, there should be a Yod He Vav He and a Samek, a Yod, and a Tet somewhere near that tetragram. Okay, so it's interesting. So it continues this idea that the 72 the 72-fold name comes from the 4-lettered name Yod He Vav He. And of course, let's not forget that if we put Yod He Vav He in a triangle, in the tetractys, we get 72. What do I mean by that? Well, every Hebrew letter has a number, okay? What's interesting is that in Hebrew, there's no way to write numbers, okay, in Hebrew. Like, we can write like 3 or 2 or 1, okay? We can do that because we're using the Arabic system. But a lot of people know that, like, Roman numerals, they use letters for numbers. Like V was 5, or X was 10, or I was 3 for the Romans. Greek and Hebrew is the same way. Like in Greek, alpha was the letter alpha, but it was also the number 1. So alpha, beta, gamma, delta. These are 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So in Hebrew, it's the same way. Every letter plays double duty in Hebrew. It could be a letter or a number. So, dang, what was I on about with that though? Every Hebrew. Oh, okay. So the Tetragrammaton. What you do is you take the four-lettered name of God, Yod He Vav He, which is Jehovah or Yahweh, and you put it in a triangle. At the top, you just have the letter Yod. Yod is the number 10. Underneath that, you put Yod He. That's 15. Underneath that, Yod He Vav. Okay, that's 21. Underneath that, Yod He Vav He, the full tetragram, which is 26. You add these together, you get 72. So it's like a Kabbalistic way of showing that, see, Kabbalah is all about associations, association. The tree of life is a grand glyph or scheme. The tree of life is a symbol that allows us to make associations so that we could associate colors and ideas to these sephirot and to pass, okay? It's a way, it's a model. It's all about association. But in this case, what we're talking about, I'm kind of veering off here. If you put the four-letter name of God, Yod He Vav He, in the Tetractys, and you add up Yod plus Yod He plus Yod He Vav plus Yod He Vav He equals 72. Okay, so it's important to understand the office. The office is what the angel does for you. The attribute is the quality of God embodied in the angel. Then we have the psalm verse. And like I said, usually the psalm verse in Hebrew that's assigned to the angel, you should have the three letters of the, not always, but usually you should have the letters of the name of the angel around a tetragram in the Hebrew of the psalm verse. It's kind of like a rule. But what you would do is, if you want to have a powerful experiences with these angels, what I recommend is to take a little time to meditate on the name of the angel, its attribute. What is the attribute? Think of its office. Think, what do you want to ask for within this angel's office? So you're really already starting to like integrate this idea of this angel into yourself, okay? Because you're starting to think, what do I want to ask? This is the angel's office. What do I want to ask for within that? Think, what is the attribute of God in this angel? Well, what does that mean? What is the name? Sound it out to yourself. For example, Eiael. Say it out loud to yourself. Eiael. Eiael. What is the psalm verse? What is the attribute? So you're meditating from thing to thing. You're contemplating all of the different qualities of this angel. What are the degrees? What is its office? What is the attribute? And your mind, turning these in your mind, you're able to kind of get an idea of what is this angel. You're starting to connect with it at that level. You could say that in that sense, the materia is more receptive to the spiritus. What we have is a vessel that is more fit to receive because we are already a little bit assimilated to this angel. We're already starting to ruminate upon this angel and to talk to it, okay? You may begin to have like contact, possible, okay? I don't want to tell people what's real or not, but many people report during this period of just kind of into thinking about the angel, they may notice some type of contact that may occur. But we have to be very careful also to try to keep ourselves on track, to not veer into illusion, because it's very easy to do that with these types of practices. So it's very important, in my opinion, to keep a record, a magical record. Oh, I had this wonderful experience. Well, what happened? Did you get what you asked for? Was there a result? What were the external factors? What were the internal factors? Okay. If we write down our operations and any experiences or no experiences, let's say that you have no experience. Well, are you going to give up? I mean, you could. You could do it once and it doesn't work and you're like, well, to heck with that. Or you could keep your record, that your written record, and continue, do further experiments. Try something out and try a different timing. Try different methods, okay? And see if you're able to have an experience, okay? So you already have your timing You know the angel you want to work with. You know its office. You've thought about it. What are its attributes? You've already kind of started thinking about the angel, maybe saying the angel's name. You're starting to think about it. What you do is you look for a good time to work with this angel, or try no timing. Either way, okay? The 20-minute cycle, or do it following the path of the sun through the heavens, like I mostly do. So yeah, look for the timing, or try no timing. Now, what's interesting is, so there are two main ways of doing timing. And again, I encourage people to try no timing. Compare them, okay? But essentially, if you are using timing, there are two main or most popular ways. One is to follow the path of the sun through the zodiac, which the tropical zodiac, or you could use another system, which is what I do. Follow the sun through the degrees of the zodiac. So I work with roughly another angel every 5 days. In this way, a person could cycle through all 72 angels in a year. That's a pretty, it's an obtainable goal. Okay, it's an obtainable goal. It's realistic, and it's something very transformative, and it's a short amount of time. You're not dedicating 10 years of your life to something. No, 1 year. 1 year, for those that want to do that, it's very initiatic. I'm going to work through the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh, following the sun through the zodiac, and you're kind of going through a journey with the sun. You're kind of going through all of the different energy changes like the sun is going through. In a sense, you're cycling through all 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh. Now, there's some people that believe that going through any kind of cycle like this, any kind of cycle, that it has some kind of a positive impact upon us. That, for example, it has an initiatic impact because you've gone through a life cycle. For example, totally different system, but working through the 28 mansions of the moon. Okay, this is a totally different topic. Working through all 28 mansions of the moon. To work through all 28 mansions of the moon and to cycle through them, that is an initiatic journey because you've gone through a life cycle. You've made a full circle. Okay, there are many different systems that will do this. So this is one way that it's not a whole bunch of trouble because you got like 5 days, to work through the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh. Also, now, that's if you want to hit each one of them. Alternatively, if you don't want to dedicate your whole thing to that, you could just work with it when you feel like it. So you don't have to follow some rigid thing. If you want to work with angels whenever you feel like it, you may notice that the sun enters these degrees. Oh, this really relates to me. I might try and experiment. So you could also do it just whenever you feel like doing it. But, so you could do it whenever you feel like doing it, but just look at where the sun is in the zodiac. And you can do this with any astrological software, okay? Any kind of natal chart software, I often just use Astro Charts Pro on my phone. I just use it, Astro Charts. It's perfect, you could use astrological software to see where the sun is at any one moment. And just follow the sun through the zodiac. I announce it on my Facebook. I talk about it. Now, another approach is where you could, with timing, with the Shem angels, is where you could work with any angel on any day. Okay? This is using Lazar Linane's 20-minute cycle. Okay? Now, this is fabricated by Lazar Linane in 1823. He invented it, and he admits it. However, it's part of the modern tradition, and I've had some pretty interesting results, and a lot of people use it. And so I encourage people to try it out. What it does is it divides a day into 72 equal sections. It divides a day into 72 equal sections. So Vehuya, the first angel, will begin at midnight in the first 20 minutes of midnight. And then the next angel, 12:20 to 12:40. And then the next angel, Sitael, from 12:40 to 1 a.m. And then the next angel, 1 a.m. to 1:20 a.m. And it basically 20-minute cycle through the whole day. I encourage people to try both of these timing methods and try no timing and try it out, see what you find. Now, using the 20-minute cycle, you could work with any angel on any day. So Now, I think it's useful to do both. And I personally use both. I think both is the best way to do this. Because let's say that yes, I'm going to take a year to cycle through all 72 angels. There may come something up in my life that I may want to work with an angel on the other side of the zodiac. I may want to work with an angel that the sun won't even get there until this summer or something. I don't want to wait till this summer. I need it now. I want to talk today. You could use the 20-minute cycle. Okay. So that's the first thing to understand. The 20-minute cycle, you can work with any angel on any day. You can work with any angel on any day using the 20-minute cycle. I posted this on my Facebook, the 20-minute cycle, and it can be found in the Science of the Kabbalah by Lazar Lenain, the 20-minute cycle. And I did post this on my Facebook. So basically using the 20-minute cycle, you could work with any angel on any day. The other way, the more long-term method, is what I mostly do, is just follow the sun through the zodiac. So every 5 days, it's a new angel. Okay. And you could look at this as like the long-term, the big approach. Where's the sun? What angel is it like within the year? And then you can look at it as like within a day. Now, Lazar Lenain does a bunch of other stuff with his timing that I just think is just, in my opinion, I don't get into it. His other timing, some of the other stuff that he does, he's just like he's getting a little creative there. Oh, you get a little creative there, Lazar Lenain. Very nice, very nice. If people find that helpful, then, that's absolutely excellent and splendid, because that's what it all boils down to, is your own path and stuff. I think he just like makes up a lot of stuff with some of his other timing. Like he's just like literally just making stuff up. But his 20-minute cycle, many people have found very useful. Okay, me included. I like his 20-minute cycle. Okay, at first, like I didn't use it at all, but now I've started. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I say do what works for you. Okay, that's why I always say to get a spiral, get a notebook, or it could be on your phone, it could be on your laptop, whatever. Some type of document where you just write down the date, and then write down the time, write down what you did, write down your result. That's it. Date, time, what you did. This record will tell you, because if you're gonna try out the 20-minute cycle, try it out. If you're going to try out doing what I mostly do, following the path of the sun through the year, write your result. Try no timing. Try working with one like outside of the thing. Now, will it still work? Yeah, you can make contact at any time. Okay, they're not bound. It's not like you're going to call an angel and the angel's going to go, well, I want to help him, but it's not my time yet. I have to wait for my hour. Just waiting for the clock to tick. Angel just waiting on clocks. No, it's not like that, What it boils down, so you can work with anything at any time. I mean, it's obvious, they're not bound. They're not going to say, well, no, you can work with any angel at any time. However, there is something about timing. There's something about it. You can find it in any kind of system, any kind of magic system out there, pretty much. You find some type of time, and it's very much a part of the Shem Angels and a part of these traditions and lore, the timing. Okay, it's something found throughout all of the classical like grimoire magic and everything. Timing. So I figured try it out. Try the 20-minute cycle. Try following the path through the sun. Try these different methods and see what works for you. All right. Okay, let's see here. How's everyone doing this beautiful, lovely morning? How's everybody doing today? All right. Y'all doing all right? Okay. So, we talked about the Shem Angels. First, we need to understand who they are, where they come from. There's the name of the angel. There are the degrees of the zodiac that it governs. I use the tropical. Some people out there may want to use sidereal. I say whatever works for you works. I personally use the tropical because it's what the grimoires have always used. It's what Agrippa used. It's what all these magicians throughout our traditions of the grimoires use, the tropical. People are like, but that's not where the star is. And I'm like, yes, I know, but we're not going off of the physical stars. Tropical astrology is seasonal. That doesn't matter. Like, it's been working for 2,000 years. We knew about the precession of the equinoxes back since Ptolemy wrote the Tetrabiblos. But anyways, it doesn't matter. That's my practice. I follow tropical. It's what the grimoires did. It's what we've always done, you know? I don't feel like we lack anything that we need to borrow from another system. I think it's fine. I use tropical. Okay? Most traditional grimoire magicians I know use tropical. However, like I always stress, it's up to you and your own individual path. If you prefer to use sidereal, I say try it out and see what happens. Or if you want to use tropical, whatever. I use the tropical astrology because that's what the grimoires used. Okay, let's see here. Aurelian says, salute from France. Here it's the afternoon. Glad to see you in live. Thanks for all you are sharing. Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in. Rachel says, good vibes, tribe. Let me see here. Okay. All right. Are y'all doing all right this morning? So today, I don't know if y'all are just now tuning in, but of course after the video, we'll have the full video. Today I'm talking about techniques and methods for working with the Shem Angel. So we're going to try to make this practical. So the only other thing to understand is that we need a method of communication. We have an understanding of what the angel is, who the angel is, what is its office, what is its attribute, all that. We understand, we've contemplated that, and we understand a little bit about it. 2, we have the timing, okay, or no timing. We have the timing. So we've picked a time, we've picked an angel, we've picked an office, we've thought a little bit about the office, we've researched the angel we want to work with. Now we pick the time, so now it's the time of the ritual. What do? Now you need a method of communication. It's the time of the angel. You need a way to communicate with the angel. And there are several ways to do this. The most traditional way, the absolutely traditional way of doing this would be to have a clear scrying crystal. Okay, a clear scrying crystal. This is what a Renaissance mage would use to speak with an angel. A clear scrying crystal. Now, we can go by the book, or you can just do what you want in your own practice. I'm talking about just what people were doing back in the day. A clear crystal would be clear without spot. It would be completely transparent, completely see-through. And there are a lot of methods for elevating this above incense. Elevating, but you don't want to crack your crystal, and you don't want it too close, and you want to have something safe. You don't want something where it's like propped up and it falls, and then you've got alive coals and your house catches on fire. But there are methods to have a clear scrying crystal elevated above incense. Okay, we see this in some grimoires. Now, we do see this in some grimoire texts that talk about a scrying crystal above incense. Now we're getting into something that's more oral tradition. Now, no one has to take my word on it. Nobody has to take my word on this at all. But I've talked to many grimoire magicians. I've had conversations. And in my own personal, again, this is going into like personal, unverified analysis, whatever. But many grimoire magicians, it's a thing that people say, and in my experience, I just say try it out, see what happens. That angels seem to prefer this. So we're talking about the theoretical, most preferred way. Clear scrying crystal without spot, elevated above incense with like frankincense and myrrh or something burning underneath it. Okay, this is the absolutely like the preferred, by the book, like grimoire magicians appreciate it, and it's said to be like the preferred way. There may be nothing written to that effect, But anyways, it's just a thing that people that do a lot of this stuff seem to notice and say. So that is, now does that mean you're going to start seeing things in the crystal ball? Not necessarily. Some people are good scryers. Some people are not very good scryers. And something important to understand is that each person is different. For example, some people are visual people. Some people are visual. Our primary sense is visual. Some people are tactile. Some people learn better by listening or hearing. Some are more visual. Some are more auditory. How each person reacts. Think of yourself as like a chemical. It's like a chemical reaction. You're coming into contact with something and you're going to have a reaction. That may come to you through images in the crystal. John Dee did not scry. John Dee, as brilliant as John Dee was, as much of a great magician, as much of a great mind as John Dee was, John Dee didn't scry. No, he had Edward Kelly do it. John Dee wasn't scrying. He couldn't. He tried to scry and couldn't. John Dee, he had Edward Kelly scry for him. Okay? And if you look at a lot of the earliest grimoires, like if you look in the Hygromantia, or even if you look in even the Greek magical papyri, it often says to use a child, which I don't agree with. I don't think kids should be brought into magic, but we're just talking about these historical texts like the Hygromantia and the PGM. It says to use someone else to scry for you, okay? Someone that's open, someone, even in the Abramelin, if you read the Abramelin grimoire, it says to use someone else, a scryer. Use a scryer. So not everyone has, and that's just the truth. Not everyone is built the same way. However, I personally, I have like really vivid things in the scrying. I do see things, and I know that it's real. I'm not going to say that I know that it's real. I know that the experience of scrying and seeing something is real. I know for a fact. Okay? You look away from it, you don't see anything. You look back at it, you see something. Okay? I know for a fact that scrying is real. Okay? But really the crystal ball is a focus. There's a whole thing about scrying. Okay? It's a whole topic in itself. But if you're trying to do like that old school method, a clear crystal ball can be used for spirit communications. So you're communicating with angels through a scrying stone. Okay, this is what John Dee was doing in the 1500s, okay? Communicating with an angel through a scrying stone. Now, there are other methods. If someone wants to innovate with this, many people have done this. You can't stop people from experimenting, okay? A glass of water, okay? A glass of water. You can take a wine glass and put water in it, and that can be your scrying vessel. A clear wine glass with water, filled up with water. So make sure it's a clear glass goblet. Glass, natural material. You don't want it to be plastic or anything. Pure glass goblet. Okay? Make sure, fill the cup with water. Holy water would be best. Consecrated water. Fill it with consecrated water, which you can find the method for making your own holy water from the Key of Solomon. The Key of Solomon has a very simple method for making holy water, or you can go and get it from a Catholic church. Okay? Catholic churches usually have a font. You can just go in, and it's for filling up holy water. You just walk in. Usually it's a big thing. You just turn the nozzle, fill up your holy water. It's for that purpose. Do not dip it in the thing that people dip their hands in. That's full of skin cells. Don't do it. And it's very bad taste. It's not okay. You'll get in trouble if you're caught. Don't do that. So when you if you walk into a Catholic church, you see a font of holy water that everyone dips their fingers in and they make some. Do not get holy water from there. Do not do it. Like I said, it's full of skin cells. Your holy water is going to be disgusting, and you can get in trouble. It's not for that. There is a special place, or ask a priest. If you don't, look for somebody that works at the church, a priest or a deacon or somebody, or a little old church lady, ask, where do I need to fill up there. It's okay. People do this. It's normal. It's normal. Catholics know. It's normal in the Catholic Church to ask for holy water. It's just normal to do. It's not weird. It's totally acceptable and normal. Walk up to one of the little old church ladies, okay? Or the priest, or find somebody. You can buy holy water bottles on Amazon. Like, it'll say holy water on it. Like, you can do that. It's just for the holy water. I recommend having some kind of vessel just for holy water. Go to the Catholic Church. Hey, do you have a thing to fill up holy water? They'll say, yeah, they'll show you. There's like a special thing, you fill it up. Or you can make your own holy water using the Key of Solomon, if you want to follow more of like a grimoire purist method. Or you can make it however you want. This is your practice. You can make holy water however you want. I'm just trying to cover the bases. These are different approaches, okay? But you can do it however you want. Make your own holy water. You could fill it in a wine glass. That could be your communication medium. Fire. You can communicate in a fire, but I don't know how you're really going to... There are different methods for scrying. Another method is pentacle or sigil scrying. Now, the sigils of the Shem Angels, this is a whole topic. That is another method. It is a modern method, but I've had interesting results. Sigil scrying is where you look at the sigil of the angel or spirit, and you just stare at sigil, and maybe you just allow your eyes to like kind of blur, like slightly stare at sigil and wait for images, ideas to come to you. And of course the sigil connects with the spirit. Now, with the Shem Angels, it's tricky. With the Shem Angels, it's tricky. I don't even use sigils. I don't use sigils. I do not use sigils. And a lot of these modern magicians that are like projecting their misunderstanding of grimoire magic, they're like, you can't do it without a sigil. Yeah, you can. I'm doing it. I don't even use sigils. But there's a reason. We don't have any sigils until Blaze Legionnaire, what's his name? And we see it in, we don't have access to that text. We have it in, the text that we would have access to. We have it in the Divine Cabal. Okay, we have it in the Divine Cabal. We have the sigils of the Shem Angels. Now, the Divine Cabal, that's from like the 1800s. Okay, that's like from the 1800s. The Divine Cabal, late 17, early 1800s, that's the Divine Cabal. That's the sigil. So we don't have the sigils up until then. What was Dr. Rudd doing? Dr. Rudd didn't have sigils. Dr. Rudd used the name of the angel in Hebrew and the Psalm verse. That's what Dr. Rudd did. So Dr. Rudd, he just used, if you go look at Dr. Rudd's Goetia, so this is part of the tradition, and this is what I do. I personally follow Dr. Rudd's method. What Dr. Rudd does is he writes the name of the angel in Hebrew, and then he writes the Psalm verse in Latin. What I do, Dr. Rudd actually writes the verse in Latin in the middle, and then around the ring he puts the name of the angel in Hebrew. I do the opposite. It's either way in the tradition. I put the name of the angel in Hebrew, and then a double circle around it, and in the double circle I put the Psalm verse in Latin and the divine attribute. That's what I do, and I've had very good results. So that is part of the tradition, by the way, Dr. Rudd. And then Lazar Lenane has these sigils, which people can work with. It's part of the tradition. I'm not saying don't work with the sigils. Work with the sigils. Try them out. In fact, like I said, try it with the sigils. Try it without the sigils. Okay? Try it with the sigils of Lenane. Try it without the sigils. There are sigils. Now, Ambelaine, who was a kind of like modern occultist, Robert Ambelaine, and his Kabbalah Pratique, he basically plagiarized Lazar Lenane. Ambelaine plagiarized Lenane, and Ambelaine, he was very important in Martinism and things like that. Robert Ambelaine, he, in his Kabbalah Pratique, he basically says in his book, do not use these sigils. They're diabolical and they cause problems. And he talks about people get sick using them, all this type of stuff. Now, here's the thing. Robert Ambelain, he was using a distorted form of the sigils from an Arsenal manuscript, okay? These sigils are different. They're distorted. The Arsenal manuscript has certain flaws. So, it is quite possible that he was using a distorted form of these sigils. And that's largely seen that way in the traditionalist grimoire community, is that the sigils themselves aren't bad. It's the corrupted form of them that was used in the Arsenal manuscript. So basically, Ambelain was working from a flawed manuscript. Of course, he was having all these problems, okay? Now, I'm not telling people what to think or what opinions to have. We each have to have draw our own conclusions, okay? We should gather data and draw our own conclusions. That's the important thing. But Ambelain basically says, don't use these sigils, they're diabolical, people can get hurt. That's what Ambelain says in his Practical Kabbalah book. However, again, his sigils were distorted. Linnaean's sigils were a little bit different, and so there's a little bit of fear out there. There's some fear out there about using those sigils, okay? So I think it's important. This is just part of, I don't want to like spread fear or anything about these sigils, but I think it's important that people understand all of the lore and even the gossip and the traditions around the Shem Angels and the different things. But there are some occultists that say don't use these sigils with the Shem Angels, okay? Like in the Divine Cabal. I just don't use the sigils. I don't use them, and I get amazing results. I use Dr. Rudd's method where I make pentacles of the Shem Angels. I make pentacles, which it has nothing to do with a star. I don't know why they're called pentacles. There's no star. I call it a pentacle. They're called pentacles, okay? Pentaculo, to bear upon you. But, so the double circle, what I do is I do a double circle. A pentacle serves various purposes, okay? For one thing, it is a link with the spirit. Think of it like a sigil, in a way. It is a link with the spirit. It's also something you can focus your mind and try to scry with. Now, is that a traditional method? Are you going to see this method in an old grimoire? No, it's a modern method. But you could also try sigil scrying with the pentacle. Okay, so look at the sigil and meditate on the sigil. It's basically, you could use it in more of a modern magic context as like a meditative device to think about the angel, look at the pentacle of the angel, which again, what I do is I put the name of the angel in Hebrew, and in a double circle, I put the psalm verse and divine attribute in Latin. That's what I have. So the name of the angel in Hebrew, around it, the psalm verse in Latin. What I have is like they're like little holders that like hold up a plate. Like some people have fancy china. Don't mess with my china. Are you eating on the new china dish? Like fancy dishes, people that go around with fancy dishes in their cabinets, they might want to show off a dish. This is my special dish. They got these little holder things, okay? Or it could also be used to hold a book open. I have a little golden thing like that I use to hold up my pentacle. So they're really cheap. For like $10, I got like, I don't know how many of them, okay? So you get these little things. What you do is you set your pentacle in this, and your pentacle, this little round pentacle is set up. It looks awesome. It's like you're looking at it, and the pentacle it's like a disc, but it's like sitting up, okay? I would get a little holder that holds up the pentacle once you get it all together. You cut it out of paper or vellum, or parchment, however you want to do it. You could do a metal one. Either way, whether it's metal or parchment or paper, whatever you make your pentacle out of or sigil thing, it's good to put it in a double circle. Agrippa talks about the double circle. Now, it's interesting. We can go back to, Pseudo-Agrippa, his fourth book, the fourth book of occult philosophy, by Pseudo-Agrippa's fourth book. He talks about a pentacle. He talks about as a type of talisman where you put a double circle, and you could write stuff around the double circle, and in the center an image. Okay, or something. Here we're putting the name of the angel in Hebrew, and these are angels of the name. Shem Angel. Shem means name in Hebrew. Shem Angel literally means angel of the name. The name itself is a connecting device. Put the name of the angel in Hebrew, in the double circle put the psalm verse. That's what I do. So you could try sigil scrying. If you don't want to use the stone, you could sigil scry. What you would do, and it's a little bit more meditative, a little bit of a modern method. I would have incense. Always have copious amounts of incense and candlelight. Look at the pentacle, meditate upon the pentacle, stare at it, meditate on it, and wait for ideas to come to the surface, feelings, thoughts, imagery. So just look, allow yourself to relax and just be in the moment and accept whatever comes. Just try to be open. That is the important thing with scrying. Sit. Relax. Look at the scrying crystal or the pentacle that you made that's on a stand, or the glass of water, or whatever. Sit. Look at it. Allow yourself to relax. Call out the angel's name. Look at the glass of water. Look at the scrying crystal. Call out the angel's name. And look. And then just be receptive. Be open to an experience. And then there is another method of using astral projection, which again, the traditional grimoire magicians in the back of the room are going to be like, no, Taliesin, no, no, Taliesin, he said astral projection. The thing is, I want people to know about all methods, modern methods, ancient methods. I want you to use whatever method that works for you, that you have an experience, okay? I want you to use what lights your fire, I don't want you to be little cookie cutter magicians, Find what lights your fire, baby. Yeah, find what lights your fire, baby. We're gonna make it happen, y'all. So find what works for you, okay? I don't know why I did that. That was weird. It's my humor. It's my humor, y'all. All right, y'all. So the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh, y'all. So, timing or no timing. Have your pen and paper ready. Okay? You could scry or you can do astral projection. Now, this is going to have the traditionalists in the back of the room screaming. Okay, and I'm largely a traditionalist. That's the funny thing. I, for the most part, am a traditionalist. But I actually do a lot of astral projection with my Shem Angel stuff, and I found it to be pretty interesting. Now, there are two ways to look at this. One, you could say that you're literally leaving your body to have an interaction. And then two, there's the more psychological view that you're by imagining yourself going up, above, away from your body, away from the room you're in, up into, like, let's say outer space, okay, to interact with these things. A more psychological view is that in this elevated level of consciousness, you're more receptive, you're more open to images, you're more receptive, you're not focused on your body, you're not focused on the room, you're not focused on the sounds or less distractions. You could say in a more exalted state. Now, what have shamans done for many centuries? Okay, they've used an elevated state of consciousness, an exalted state of consciousness. So astral projection, whether it be literal external travel, soul travel or whatever, or whether it be a mental journey up into a higher level, either way, it does lead to very powerful visual experiences, Now, are you making contact? This is up to each individual person, but in my opinion, yes. I think that it's a totally legitimate approach. It's not traditional. It's not in the grimoires, but astral projection. But again, just because you have an experience doesn't make it real. This is important. You need to be open. You need to be open to having an experience. Otherwise, you won't have one. You need to be open. But you also just write it down, and but always try to keep yourself planted in this reality, in the real world, okay? Because these types of methods, really magic in general, or especially getting into stuff like this, I would not recommend anyone that has serious mental issues to do this type of stuff, okay? If you have any kind of history of, I would just be careful, okay? This is each person has to decide what they want to do at your own risk type of thing. But if you have any history of mental illness, I would just be careful with engaging in this type of practices. But anyways, I am mostly a traditionalist for the most part. But I know many people would cringe at what I said. But I think that astral projection is absolutely a valid and powerful trend. It could open you up more to have like vivid imagery. Now, are you making contact? Is it real in the objective sense? Well, you're going to have to draw your own conclusions. I say try all these methods out. Now, what I've given you here are many approaches. And by the way, I've given you many approaches that you can now take this and go have fun. You're going to get a scrying crystal, or you're going to try some astral projection first. Okay? You're going to do some astral projection first, or are you going to go and try another method? By the way, I wanted to throw this in here. I've had many people report results with simple prayer. Many people have told me that they were amazed that they were getting results with just prayer. They didn't have anything, just prayer to the angel. Now, here's an important detail. Normally, the psalm verse goes with the call. Traditionally, again, do whatever you want to do in your own practice, but traditionally, the psalm verse is part of the call. Now, I want everyone to do their own thing, but my method is I call out the angel's name several times. Eiael, 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 Eiael. And I focus my mind in establishing contact. So I'm not just speaking words. In my mind, I'm making contact. Eiael, Eiael. Then you recite the psalm verse. You recite the psalm verse. Okay? And that is how you would call an angel. Traditionally, its name and its psalm verse go together as part of a call. Repeat the psalm verse. Okay? Ideally, I recommend having incense and candlelight. Okay? It's an ancient part of this technology. Think of it like an ancient technology. Incense and candlelight. Dim the lights. Look at the pentacle. Look at the scrying stone. Look at the glass of water. Or just pray and look at the wall. Just pray and look at the wall, or look at a sigil, or you could relax your body and then have try to do some astral projection techniques and go have an experience with the angel. Me personally, I normally do this following the sun through the zodiac at the hour of the sun. I don't worry about the days, just the hour of the sun. Okay, at the hour of the sun is in this degree. I work with an angel once every 5 days. I only ask for one thing. Just in my history of grimoire magic, I found when you ask for more than one thing, it can cause problems for me. I try to think of one thing, okay? Now, it's very important to be open to an experience. Here's the thing, the critical factor. Those that are like, this isn't real, this isn't going to work, guess what? You're going to manifest, you're going to make a self-fulfilling prophecy. You need to just be open. Just shut the fuck up and just have an experience. Are you going to just going to be cool, Just be cool, man. Just be cool, just chill out and just do it. Just just mellow out, man, you know. You just got to try to have an experience, y'all. Just got to open up, you know. Got to open up a little bit, you know. Some of y'all got to open up a little bit, you know. So that's all I'm saying. If you enter into this, like, I didn't believe in Shem Angels, you know. I don't know. Some of those people do get a little surprised, though. They get a little surprised. Surprise. Yeah. But, oh yeah, Geomancy. How long have we been going here? How long has it been? How long has it been? I said been. Wow, is it already like an hour and a half? Nah. I can't see the time. I know it's 9:30. I thought I started at 8:30. Wow, I know it's at least an hour in. Sirs and madams, are y'all ready for the Geomancy time? Hell yeah. Now, I hope y'all get busy with that. Okay, if you're watching my videos, you better be becoming ceremonial magicians over there, doing some grimoire magic, okay? Even enough that you'll be able the rest of your life to talk about when you did like an old school, like, angel magic operation, okay? You could from now on tell your friends and family, tell everybody, I remember back in the day when I did angel magic, you know? You'll have it from now on. And you may have a cool experience. I mean, why not? Renaissance angel magic. Don't threaten me with a good time. All right. So here we go, y'all. Today we're going to move on. So I talked about how to make contact with the Shem Angels. All right. Know what they are. Know what time. Know which angel you want to use and why. What angel you want to work. In my opinion, it's best to ask for something that is closest to your heart. If you ask for something like just stupid or something that you don't care, you're just testing it, it's not going to work. These angels are not here to just like... If you're asking for something that's not that important to you, or you're just asking for something like it's a game or I'll see what happens. Like, no. My recommendation, if you want results and results that matter, ask for something, just try it out. Ask for something that is at the core of your heart. What is the most important thing to you at your core? What matters to you? That is what you ask a Shem Angel for. And trust the angel. Open yourself to the angel. Pour your heart out. Tell the angel, okay? Trust. We need to have the trust of children in a way, okay? We need to have trust. Now, ask for something that is at the core of, like, what is the most important to you? Don't ask for something whimsical or something you don't really care about. So this is an opportunity also to look at our values, what's important to us, who are we, what do we really want in life. So this kind of encourages a type of like self-introspection as well. So we talked a little bit about the Shem Angels, how to make contact. We talked about methods. So again, you know the angel you want to work with. You pick out a time or no time. The time has arrived. There are scrying methods through a crystal stone or through a scrying stone, the most traditional way, through sigil scrying or pentacle scrying, which is another method, or scrying in incense smoke or fire. There are different ways to scry. Or just stare at the wall and just talk to the angel. Prayer. I've done it, before and had powerful experiences, but this is after I had already established contact, is to just light incense and candles and just pray, like without any props or setup. You could use water. You could do astral projection. So these are different techniques, okay? And so now we get to, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. Now we're gonna get to our geomancy, y'all. All right. So I want everybody to get a paper and pen ready. Every day, we discuss a little bit about geomancy, and we draw a geomantic figure. So If this is your first time watching my videos, I really encourage you to draw a geomantic figure with me. I'll show you how to make your own geomantic figure. And this is going back to Renaissance magic, classical magic. Okay, I've said this a million times before. In the Renaissance, divination was usually done through geomancy. Now, geomancy actually means earth divination. Geo, like geology, geo means earth, and mancia is to prophesy. So geomancy means earth divination, but it's also was used to communicate with planetary spirits and intelligences. Now, I talk a lot about classical magic and grimoire magic and classical magic, stuff like that, or Renaissance magic. A lot of classical magic was actually dealing with the spirits of the planets and stars of astrology. So you're dealing with the spirits of astrology. So, for example, the spirits of Venus or Mars or of the Sun, or the spirits of Pisces, the spirits of Aquarius and Aries. And then you have the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh that each govern 5 degrees of the zodiac. Now, one thing I want to stress here is that the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh are not just personifications of the zodiac, far from it, at least in a classical Renaissance mindset. Agrippa breaks this down in his 3 books of occult philosophy. There is a reason that he wrote 3 books. Agrippa was proving a point. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, in the 16th century, wrote the 3 books of occult philosophy. Why 3 books? Because he had one was for the natural world, the next one for the celestial astrological, and the third for the divine. So there is a type of divine outpouring. Everything begins with, well, it depends on which way you look at it, the divine, and from there we get to the astrological realm, which is causal, and then you get to the material. Or you could say working your way up. We are here on Earth. Now again, I'm talking about the Renaissance mindset. Okay? I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying this is literally true. This is the Renaissance mindset. Here on Earth, we are at the center. Every stone, every plant, every animal, every tree is associated with a certain planet or star. Okay? So literally we have solidified stars here on Earth, solidified planets. So basically this stone is associated with this planet, or that animal or that tree is associated with that planet. So we have like a symbol system, but I think it was more than a symbol system. It was that they saw, this goes back to the Hermetic adage. You'll often hear people say all that is above is a reflection of that which is below, and all that is below is a reflection of all that which is above. Now, what does that even mean? It means this. This is what the Renaissance magicians were talking about. This stone or this plant or this tree is associated with this planet or star. Okay? However, the planets and stars were seen as a doorway, a window into the mind of God. So that the ancients did not believe that the stars had power. They believed that God had power, or God and his angels, or the gods and goddesses from a totally different perspective, or religious, like mythology or whatever. They could say gods and goddesses. Let's say we're in Babylon. Let's say we're in Egypt. Who reigned over the stars? It was the gods and goddesses. So, or in the Renaissance mindset, this would be kind of a blending of Christian and more of kind of a Platonic and Hermetic worldview. That's kind of what we were getting back then. But basically the divine worked through the stars, but through his intermediaries, which are the spirits, the archangels, the intelligences of the planets. So you're not working with a ball of gases. You're dealing with something higher. A planet was not just a planet. It was an archetype. When you're dealing with Venus, you're not just dealing with a ball of gases. You're dealing with lust. You're dealing with passion. You're dealing with desire. You're dealing with beauty. When you're dealing with Mars, you're not just dealing with a bunch of rocks and gases. You're dealing with aggression, war, battle, that drive, that energy, okay? So the planets, the astrological realm, again, man has projected himself onto nature. And that way you could see in the 12 signs of the zodiac the different character types or personality types. You can see within the planets different qualities within us. Like I said, lust is Venus, anger is Mars. Okay, our ambition could be seen as the sun or Jupiter. Okay, our dreams and our subconscious is the moon. So man projected himself outward into the universe, a type of macrocosmic man or woman, the cosmos, okay, cosmos. And of course, in the Renaissance and in Plato, they talked about like the world soul or the anima mundi, the world soul. Yeah, the soul of the world. Okay, so the universe was seen as a type of living being. Now, beyond the cosmos was the divine realm. So basically, the 72 angels of the Shem ha-Mephoresh would be in the divine order that would reflect down into the stars. Again, people would look at the stars as a window to glimpse into the mind of God. So basically, stars and planets were seen as doorways to access the divine realm. I think it's kind of this materialistic aspect of postmodern society that we tend to look at everything as physical causes when we're dealing with something higher. But the Hermetic adage sets us straight. Okay, the Hermetic adage, its wisdom cries down to us through the centuries. All that is above is a reflection of that which is below, and all that is below is a reflection of that which is above. Were the sages mad? Were they liars? Whatever they were, they cry down to us through the centuries. They are crying down to us. When we read these old texts that are from the 16th century or something, Agrippa, we are sitting in his feet. We are learning from him. We're drawing in that wisdom. So, everyone, I would like y'all to get a pen and paper if you're watching this, or if you want to be an old fuddy-duddy and say, I'm not playing, I'm not participating. You could sit on the sidelines while the rest of us dance. You don't have to dance, with us, with the rest of us. Y'all could sit on the sidelines if you want. But if you want to be part of the cool people crowd, get you a pen and paper, y'all. We need y'all to get a pen and paper, y'all. All right, pen and paper. We're going to draw a geomantic figure. If you've never done geomancy before, sir, madam, by the time you end this video, you will be a geomancer. Okay? We're going to make that happen. You just got to have a paper and a pen. If you're watching later on, you could pause and get a paper and a pen. Or you could be an old fuddy-duddy and not participate. I'm not going to participate. It's either way, y'all. But if you want to be an awesome geomancer, you can do that as well. All right. So, we're going to draw a geomantic figure, okay? Y'all ready? It's very simple, y'all. Take your pen and paper. I like to use a Sharpie. I like to use something that uses a lot of ink. Me personally. I find that like a pen or a pencil, like you may see like a dot and you're wondering like, did I make that dot or was that dot already there? Use good quality paper. Use something that uses copious ink. I like to just use a Sharpie a lot of times, honestly. The holy Sharpie, the sacred Sharpie. So what you do is you take your question in mind. Now, something for divination, how you word your question is important, okay? How you word your question is important. How you frame a question will give you a very different answer. And it also helps us to think about our issue as well. I think it's good to really think out a question. Also, I think it's good to write down your question. Okay, it's good to write down your question, because what if you forget your question? Or what if you forget or reinterpret how you worded it? Then you're no longer getting an accurate reading. So to get an accurate reading, you need to think about how you word it. And also later on in my geomantic videos, y'all are going to be summoning spirits with me for geomancy. Okay? So that's later on. If you keep watching my videos, I'm going to keep going deeper and deeper into geomancy. I'll show you how to summon an intelligence, and we'll do it on camera together. And I'll have you ask the intelligence a question and do a geomantic reading. But that's further on in the videos, but I'm going to walk y'all through. We'll do it together. I'll do it on camera. I'll help y'all do it. We're going to be summoning spirits and asking them questions in the style of a Renaissance mage from centuries ago. But for now, think of a question. Okay, I want everyone to think of a question, something that, yeah, think of a question, okay? If you're not watching live, you can pause. If you are watching live, just think of something that's important. Usually the first thing that comes to mind is the best, because it was like just sitting there ready to come up. So let's all think. Okay. All right. Did you think of a question? Now, what I want you to do is get a pen and paper or a Sharpie like I have or a marker, and I want you to make 4 rows of dots. So 1 row, and then go down, do a 2nd row of dots. Just keep thinking of your question, go down, make a 3rd row of dots. Keep thinking of your question, make a 4th row of dots. So thinking of your question the whole time, you'll have 4 rows of dots, okay? So think of your question, and hopefully you've written your question down. You already have a pen and paper. You already have pen and paper. Why not write down the question? All right, so let's do it. All right, so here we go. We're going to do this together. I'm now thinking of my question. I want you to think of your question, and we're going to do this together. Do it with me. Okay. I'm thinking of my question, y'all. All right, so I'll give y'all a second to do that. I have my 4 rows of dots. Okay, again, if you're not watching live, you can pause the video here and just make 4 rows of dots, okay, while you focus on your question. If not, I encourage you to do it now. Focus on your question and make 4 rows of dots, okay? All right. I'll give y'all just a second to do that. You're becoming geomancers as we speak. I'm so proud of y'all. Every day a geomancer is born. Yes, we're going to create geomancers. That's what we're doing. Renaissance magic, y'all. Renaissance magic. All right, we're doing classical magic, y'all. Classical. You hear a lot of people talk about modern magic or new age magic. Well, we're mostly focusing on classical magic. We're bringing Agrippa and all this stuff to life, y'all. All right. And I'm going to show y'all how. All right. So, have you got your four rows of dots yet? Focusing on your question. Now we're going to make this into a geomantic figure, and I'll show you how. So, what you do is you count the number of dots in each row. If it's an odd number of dots, it becomes 1 dot. And if it's an even number of dots, it becomes 2 dots in our figure. So, let's look at what I have here. So, I'm going to count the first row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is an odd number. So an odd number becomes 1 dot. Odd becomes 1. Okay? Now, I'm going to count the dots in the second row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is an odd number. So again, odd numbers equal 1 dot. Okay. I'm going to count the third row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is an even number. 10 is an even number. Even numbers become 2 in our geomantic figure. So even numbers are 2. Okay, and now I'm going to count the last row, the bottom row. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is an odd number, and odd numbers become 1. So this is puer. I drew puer. All right. Puer. All right, puer is my geomantic figure. Again, odd numbers become 1 dot, even numbers become 2 dots. Okay? And this is how you draw a geomantic figure. Okay? So what did you get? So again, the top row was an odd number of dots, so that's 1 dot. The second row was an odd number of dots, that's 1 dot. The third row was an even number, 2, and then odd. So that's how I drew my geomantic figure. I drew puer. What did you get? I encourage you to put what you got, if you want to, in the comments. Think of it as binary, okay? Binary. Now, let's, because it's ones and zeros, or it's an on switch and an off switch. It's interesting. This is how people were communicating with spirits back in the Middle Ages and in the Renaissance and back into the sands of the desert. Okay? People were communicating with spirits through an on switch and off switch, and that was through geomancy. Okay? Through geomancy, they were communicating, and these kind of speak the language of spirits and symbol and astrological and elemental thing. What sign is this? Puer is associated with Aries. Okay, so puer. So the word puer means boy in Latin. Puer means boy. And the image could be seen as a phallus. A phallus. A penis and testicles. A phallus. Okay, boy, it's male sexual energy, and also aggression, things like that. Okay? It could also be seen as a sword. So a phallus or a sword. Puer means boy. It means phallus or sword. Think of a sword. And puer is associated with Aries, and with Mars. Puer in a reading has to do with aggression, but energy and drive and enthusiasm. Anything that takes a lot of energy and courage, puer is good for. Puer is all about drive and energy and courage. Let's say you need to get a project through, then puer would be a good figure. However, every figure has a good side and bad side. Puer is also very rash and bold, but it's not always clear thinking. When we're going off our passions instead of our wisdom. So sometimes puer might say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. Now, I'm not saying this applies to me. Of course not. However, what I am saying is that, there's all different aspects of a geomantic figure. So some figures may need something more like Albus. Albus is a figure that represents wisdom and detachment. In a situation, you may need to use wisdom and detachment, or a little bit of diplomacy. Okay? That would be Albus. Albus would be good for some situations, but puer in the wrong situation would be like a bull in a china cabinet, y'all. To use some of my Texas phrasing, a bull in a china cabinet, y'all. Okay? It just wreck everything. But puer, however, so puer would be bad in something that needs diplomacy and people getting along. However, puer would be very good for something that takes lots of courage and energy and drive and ambition and strength and power and self-assertion. For that, you need puer. This is the great warrior. Okay? Now, Albus would be bad, and puer would be good in that situation. Okay? Because Albus is too careful, too calculate. In that situation, you need to just butt into a situation, okay? So puer Puer is a good image for me. Because what I did was I asked for a geomantic figure to contemplate or meditate on for the day. That's what I did. And I drew Puer. So I'm going to contemplate and meditate on this image. Now, actually, there's actual geomantic meditation. Oh, I wanted to add this, by the way. So from my work with the Shem Angels, again, whether this is external, whether this is something within us, whatever this is, okay, each person has to make up their own mind. Well, I've kind of made up my own. That's the thing. I can't impose my view on anyone else, but I've definitely had my experiences. I definitely have my worldview, very specific, but I don't want to imprint that on anyone else. But the Shem Angels told me, and I know that that's like something you got to be careful with. My experiences with the Shem Angels has kind of transformed my view of a lot of things in life, my perspectives. But I think that maybe I should like try to focus more of my time making these videos. You know, I keep getting distracted by other things. I need to do this full time. I need to be Taliesin McKnight. I need to put all of my energy into making these videos and producing content. And as such, I need to monetize some of my content so that I can just like do this full time and focus on this. So that's kind of my goal. Like I kind of just want to just start just being Taliesin McKnight and let this be my life. I can put all of my focus on this one thing. So because of that, I'm starting to monetize my content. Now, all of the information I give is free. Like, as you see, this is free. What is this, 2 hours? 2 hours. You didn't have to buy a book or anything. It's 2 hours of free information just given to anyone that wants to access it. However, I'm going to start monetizing my content for those that want to support my work, support what I do, so that I could really spend my time doing this, you know, like this show. This is 5 days a week, you know, this is hours of content, you know. So, anyways, long story short, I'm an Amazon affiliate. And what that means, now I only recommend books when I really think they're important. I only recommend things when I literally think like this will help you, okay? However, I'm an Amazon affiliate, so if I recommend books, if you click my link, if you click that link that's basically associated with my ID or whatever, like I get a commission. So if I recommend a book and you click the link, I get a commission basically. But nobody has to do that. That's only if you want to. But basically, I'm monetizing my comment, and I believe in transparency, and I believe in telling people what you're doing. I don't believe in just putting stuff out there and people click, and they don't know. They think they're just buying something on Amazon, but behind the scenes, you've been just, you know, getting that money. No, you tell people. But anyways, what was I going to say? So any like Amazon links, and you'll see next to it I put hashtag ad. You'll see when I put a comment, I'll put beside the link hashtag ad, AD, hashtag ad, or I'll even put in parentheses pay link. So I put it there so people know what it is when they click it. But anyways, long story short, I'm putting Amazon, you know, when I put an Amazon link and you see hashtag ad or in parentheses paid link, it's just a way to support my content if you want to, you know. You don't have to do it, but just putting that out there. You know, it's interesting. You know, I want to be real careful, like what I say, but like basically my experience with the Shem Angels are like, you need to just be Taliesin McKnight. You just need to focus on this, you know. But of course, I've got bills to pay. I've got stuff I've got to do. But the basic idea is that I need to find ways to both give free information for people, but also to monetize, you know, what I'm doing. You know, I still want my content free, but anyways, and doing that, I'm able to put more focus on this, you know, instead of out, you know, whatever the hell. And I'm also getting my Patreon back up. When I get my Patreon back up, I'm going to put that out there. Actually, I need to probably work on that today. What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start putting my Patreon like in the thing, you know, in the video, and it's a process, you know. But anyways, long story short, okay, let's look at these comments. Did anyone draw a geomantic figure? Let's take a look here. Okay. I want to make sure I go to the beginning. All right. All right. Sorry, there's a bunch of comments. I didn't even see them. I feel bad because, like, I'm just distracted because I'm doing my thing. All right. So Kimberly got 2112. That's conjunctio. So 2112. By the way, there's only 16 figures. There are only 16 geomantic. There's only 16 potential things that you can make. There's only 16 figures. So it's not like tarot where there's 78. Tarot has 78. Yeah, 78. Geomancy, it's just 16. So you can go, like, just Google geomantic figures and you'll see them, and you'll be able to see what they are without my help also. Just Google geomantic figures and look for yours out of the 16 that matches yours, okay? But since I'm here, that's for the people that are not listening live. Okay, I'm going to help y'all, but or for later on, just so you know, just Google the geomantic figures. There's only 16 of them. It's the first thing that'll come up. You'll be able to pick your figure out and then look at what does this mean. But 2112, again, it's like binary. 2112 is conjunctio. It's associated with Mercury, and conjunctio means a coming together. It's often referred to as a crossroads. It's any kind of making connections, making contact. So whatever that may be, it is a coming together. Conjunctio could be good or it could be bad. It's just a union. It's just a coming together, or a speaking with someone, or a meeting, or some type of union or partnership or coming together. It is a coming to. If you look at the glyph itself, it's like two down, a downward pointed triangle above an upward pointed triangle. It's a coming together. Okay, that is conjunctio. It is associated with Virgo, and yeah, it's associated with Virgo and ruled by Mercury. Conjunctio. So conjunctio, like I said, is about union, conjunction, any type of coming together. Normally in a geomantic reading, it would be positive with other positive figures and negative around other negative figures. So it's that kind of aspect of Mercury. So let me see here. Ollie says, what does my figure mean? Odd, even, odd. Okay, so odd, even, odd. So that would be 1, 2, 2, 1. That is Carcer. If you look at Carcer, so if it's odd, even, odd, I would take a dot. I would write it on a piece of paper so you can look at it visually. Dot, under that 2 dots, under that 2 dots, under that 1 dot. Carcer is like, think of it like 2 cups, like containing something. Carcer is isolating something. It's a lack of movement. It's limitation. The word carcer, I don't want to freak you out or anything, but the word carcer itself actually means prison or jail. It's cárcel in Spanish, but carcer, it doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means no movement, staying in one place, limitation, restriction, and that could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. The good thing about carcer is that it's stable. It has a stability. It's not going anywhere. The bad thing is if you want to get to another place, then you're kind of trapped. That is the aspect of carcer. And of course, we're never in something permanently. This would refer to at this moment in time. It's for a limited amount of time that is the situation. But normally carcer, and by the way, it's ruled by Saturn. It has to do with binding and restriction and limitations. Okay, so I don't know if that answers your question. So, but that is odd, even, odd. Okay, that is the figure Carcer. Let me see here. Okay. Let me see here. Alright, I'm looking here at everybody's stuff. Let me see. Okay, Anka says, and what's with the mothers, daughters, nephews, the witnesses, and the judge? So you're talking about a shield chart. That is a shield chart. Okay, right now, it's just the style that I'm doing my videos. Right now, I'm just getting people in the habit of drawing one figure every day with my videos. It's a very simple way to begin for a beginner. Draw one figure, and that can answer a question, by the way. That is enough. You're doing geomancy with one figure. However, eventually, I plan to get into shield charts, and that is what you're referring to. So the mothers in a shield chart, the mothers are drawn from, you're going to do that 4 times and get 4 figures, which are the 4 mothers, and then you use the 4 headlines become the first daughter, and then the 4 necklines, the second daughter, the 4 water lines, the third daughter, and the 4 earth lines, the 4th daughter. And then from these, you get, basically you get the daughters and the nieces and all of this stuff from the mothers, and then from there you get 2 witnesses and a judge. And basically, the judge, witness, and the witnesses and the judge are kind of used to tell you what's going on in the reading. And then you could look through causes, okay, by following the way of the points. You could even look for hidden causes in the situation. You can look at the past, present, and future. There are a lot of things that you can do with a shield chart. And then also there's a house chart, where you do a geomantic reading and it's projected like in a natal chart in astrology where you have all 12 houses. Okay? So there's shield charts. Think of shield charts and think of house charts as like tarot spreads. A spread tells you where what means what. You can get like an overall picture in a spread. Okay? Shield charts and house charts are just ways to do that with geomancy, where you have a bunch of figures you're looking at once, and you put them together to like build a picture of a situation. But what we're doing today, right now, just making one figure a day, it's the equivalent of drawing one tarot card a day. You're just drawing a card a day and looking at what it means. Every day you're drawing a card. That's the equivalent of what we're doing with geomancy. Later on, we're going to get into spreads and how to ask specific questions of the spirits and or the intelligences. Okay, that's later on. I guess that's it for today. How long have we been going? Is it like 2 hours? Yeah, it's been about 2 hours, I think. So we talked about the Shem Angels and we talked about geomancy. And this was a good start to the week. This was our Monday broadcast. I'm going to be doing these 5 days a week is my plan, as I try to put all of my focus into just making my videos and making content for y'all. Not allowing myself to have distractions, really focusing on trying to do this for y'all, for those of you that want to hear my content. So that's about 2 hours today. And then I'll see y'all tomorrow at the same time. I appreciate all of y'all by dropping in and stopping in to say hello, and sharing your ideas. And yeah, I really do appreciate it. Let me see. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so dealing with sleep and Carcer. So how could restriction or limitation affect sleep? Do you feel trapped in a situation? Is that keeping you awake? Or is it like a limited space? Or is it somehow you feel restricted or limited time? Carcer is associated with Saturn, and Saturn is associated with time. So maybe a time restriction. Do you have to get up really early? Maybe management of time. You could say, like, what time are you doing that and then waking up? So time is also associated with Saturn, but that might be a little bit of a stretch. But time, yes, Carcer and Saturn, time, dealing with sleep. Also Saturn governs like philosophy but normally Carcer represents some type of restriction or limitation. Are you giving yourself limited time to sleep? Or do you feel limited in some type of way and that may be affecting your sleep? So those are just some thoughts. I don't really know your full situation, but what you do is you think of the archetype, or you think of the symbol, or you think of the energy, and you think, how does that apply in my life? Basically, you're taking it and you're applying it to your situation. How does that energy of restriction and Saturn and limitation, how would that affect a sleep pattern? So what I would do, Ollie, in that case, is I would try to give yourself more time to relax and unwind, and to limit what you're thinking about. Get all that other stuff off your mind, clear your mind, relax, give yourself more time to unwind and go to bed. Stop pushing it to the last minute. So that's how I would take it. Okay, what we have is a communication system. We're communicating with our own subconscious, that deeper part of us, or higher self, or we could say that we're communicating with the anima mundi, or, as we will get into in these videos from a traditional perspective, you'll be communicating with planetary intelligences, disembodied entities, using this method, which is very ancient. It's a little bit trippy to think about, but yeah, that's what ceremonial magicians were doing in the 6th century, 5th century. Okay, they were communicating with spirits by making marks and drawing these figures. It's a communication device. It's a shared alphabet between us and the spirits, or the numinous. We have a language, okay, of communicating with spirits. That's what the geomantic figures are. Think of them as a language for communicating in that sense. Yes, it is amazing. Okay. All right, I'm looking at the comments here. Taliesin, I appreciate it. What time is your time zone? Here, right now, it's like 10 a.m., 10 something. Because it's really early. I'm in my state in the Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, sorry, it is kind of early. I know. But the thing is, it's like it's going to be available. All of it will, people will be able to go back and watch it. Let me see here. All right, y'all. All right, I guess that's it, y'all, for today. We talked about Shem Angels and Geomancy. Again, we're getting into classical magic here. Much more to come. And I thank y'all for tuning in, and I will see you. Yes, Fabian, thank you for joining me today. And the whole thing will be available here in a few minutes. The whole thing from the beginning will be available. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all tomorrow at the next time. Same time and same place, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day, y'all. Have a great day. Bye, y'all. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all. Bye. See you tomorrow, y'all.